Good day, students. So, today we are going to see about monitor. Okay, so this comes under unit 3. So, monitoring is just like monitoring. Okay, monitoring something, right? If something is happening, we are monitoring. Okay, children are playing in the playground, parents are monitoring whether they are safe or not. If some new person is driving the car, the tutor, right, will monitor how the learner is driving the car in a good way or effective way, how much he is applying the brake, how much he is handling the traffic. He will monitor or she will monitor, right? Here, a monitor is a synchronization mechanism that protects a critical region. As for a mutual exclusive, mutex means mutual exclusive. If something is happening, another thing must wait. A process is running, another process must wait for the completion of the previous process. That's called mutually exclusive. It's like accessing the principal room. If someone is being inside in the principal's room, no one can access that room unless until the concerned person, the person before you entered, have to come outside of the principal's cabin. Then only the new person can get into the principal's cabin. That's called mutually exclusive. Only one person can be inside the premises or principal's cabin. Okay, that's called mutually exclusive. So monitor is a synchronization mechanism. Okay, so which one needs to go first and which one goes next, right? Each and everything will be synchronized by this monitor. It protects a critical region, means if a resource, say for an example, hard drive or hard disk or RAM or a cache memory is being shared, then the space shared is a critical region. If the same kind of data or the resource is needed for someone else or for some processes, then the synchronization mechanism here called monitor needs to protect that critical region. If something has happened, then each and everything will be collapsed, okay, destroyed. Only one thread may be active at a time inside the critical region. Okay, just only one thread can be active and another thread have to wait to come inside the critical region. However, a monitor allows us to suspend a thread inside the critical region. Doing so allows another thread to enter the critical region, because if a thread is running for more number of time, then the queue will be very long. Okay, the wait queue will be very long, so that if a thread takes more time inside the critical region, it will be suspended for few milliseconds or seconds, so that the next thread will gets the opportunity. Okay, in a queue at a restaurant, there are lot of people who are all willing to buy foods from the parcel counter. If a person gets a huge bill, then it takes more time. Someone might ask for a just dosa or idli, right? A simple food, but they need to wait for long time because the previous person asked for a more food items. Here the supervisor will monitor that situation and decide to deliver for the next person as first, so that the queue will be reduced. Okay, so that's the way this monitor works. So before entering into the next sections, we need to know about deadlock. There are a lot of resources which are all accessed by lot of processes. If the process is waiting for a resource and that resource is already allocated to some other processes, then that is a deadlock. Okay, deadlock is a situation in an operating system where multiple processes residing in the memory doesn't able to perform their execution because the resources which are needed for the program execution is being held by another resource who is waiting for some other resource for completion. Okay, mutual exclusion, at least one process must be held in a non-shareable mode. Okay, mutual exclusion means at least one process must be held in a non-shareable mode, so it will wait indefinitely. If the resource is not shareable, okay, but the process needs two resources at the same time, okay, then the non-shareable resources will be allocated to a process which is cannot be operated at that point of time because the process needs another resource also. Okay, that's the problem here. Hold and wait. There must be a process holding one resource and waiting for another. Okay, so holding one resource and waiting for another resource. Before this, mutual exclusion means the held resource is a non-shareable resource. Okay, in the second one, resources are allocated to different type of processes so that it waits for indefinite mode. So mutual exclusion means at least one process must be held in a non-shareable mode. If any one process holds a non-shareable resource, then there will be mutually exclusive moment. Then deadlock will occur. And hold and wait means we have seen previously, there must be a process holding one resource and waiting for another. No preemption means resources cannot be preempted. Preempted means pulling out the or terminating the allocated resources for a particular period of time, so that another process can run. But no preemption means we cannot pull out the allocated resources from the process. Okay. Circular wait. There must exist a set of processes which are waiting indefinitely. Okay. So here there is an example. So if there are two processes, namely P1 and P2 in the memory, where P1 requires resource R1 and P2 requires resource R2, but the deadlock will arise when P1 hold the resource R2 and wait for the resource R1. Similarly, P2 hold the resource R1 and wait for the resource R2. Okay. This is circular wait, right? P1 holds the resource named R2 and wait for the resource R1. Similarly, P2 holds the resource R1 and wait for R2, so that circular wait will occur. Okay. So now we can see the figure for circular wait. P1, P2. So P2 is requesting for R2. R1 is already allocated to P2. So R2 is already allocated to P1 and it's requesting R1. Okay, that's called circular wait. So this is the example of circular wait, which is one of the causes of deadlock. So to prevent deadlock, we need to calculate the number of resources which should be available for the processes such that deadlock will not occur. Okay. So to prevent deadlock, we need to calculate the number of resources which should be available for the processes such that deadlock will not occur at all. Okay. So if the number of resources available is exceed, okay, then there will be no issues. Okay. If the resources are lesser than, if the requested resources are higher than the available resources, then the problem will occur. Okay. So we need to maintain the availability level so that the needs will be always allocated to the necessary processes. Okay. So here we are having a program. So I think it's been running for a lot of time. So we will use another one, control Z, control C and control V. Again it's not working. Copy and then paste. Okay, now it's working. So we will run this program. Here we are calculating whether it can be allocated or not. Okay. So else cout less than can't be allocated. Okay. So this is the formula, right? This is the formula to access, right? Assess, justify, right? Assess whether the available is greater than the requested. Okay. So this is the formula: R greater than or equal to P star n minus 1 plus 1. Okay. So where R is the resources, okay, R is the resources, P is the processes and N is the need of processes. Okay. So if the need is 3 and the P is the processes, okay, it is 5, right, or 7, whatever may be, right. So if we take 5 and 3, okay, 5 and 3, so 3 minus 1 2, 10, 10 plus 1. So resources, right, 3 minus 1 2, 10, 11. So resources have to be higher than the needed value, okay. So such that we have done the same thing here. So if we give less value in the need, then it will be okay. Okay, I am downgrading the available, then now I am running the same program, so cannot be allocated. It shows can't be allocated because the available is less than the calculated. Okay, process star need minus 1 plus 1. Okay, this is the formula to calculate this one, and this is the program written in C++. Okay, these two lines are namespaces or header files, and this is a function, and we are calling this function here. So this is the definition of the function, this is declaration, and this is the calling function. So this is the called function. Okay, int is the return value of this function, min underscore resource int process comma int need. So here we are declaring two variables, calculate equal to 0 and available equal to 5. Okay, so we can change this 12 here so that it will show it can be allocated. Okay, so here we are calculating the formula and storing it to calculate, and then we are finding the condition is correct or not here. So if available greater than calculate, it shows can be allocated, otherwise it cannot be allocated, will be displayed. So and we are returning the calculate value. So here we are giving the process equal to 5 and the need equal to 3, and then we are passing the value inside the min underscore resource function. Okay, so this is the program. Now it will show can be allocated. So by this we shall end up this class. So kindly come to the online class for the next time, right? So if you are having any doubts, you can mail me at you can mail me at kadavul1987@gmail.com. So see you in the next class. Bye people. Bye.